Hey fellas, how's it going? It has been a minute since I've uploaded a video. It's a combination of things. I've been busy and the meta isn't super fun right now. I just keep running into Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Makes it kind of hard to make a video with a variety of matches when that's all you're seeing, but that's a whole other discussion. Today we're going to talk about some new cards that got revealed. Normally I wait till the entire set is released to even consider making videos about new cards, but it was support for my favorite deck, so we're going to make an exception. I want to talk about these cards, give my opinion on the deck going forward, how I think it will fare into the meta. As far as we know, obviously every card hasn't been revealed. We still haven't seen promos for next set. A lot could change in that regard. This deck could even get a promo that changes everything up as it sits right now. Anyways, yeah, let's jump into it. So for those that don't know, one of my favorite leaders is Omega Shenron, and he got 3 new cards in the upcoming set. We're going to start by talking about the extra. We're going out of order because it is the most important card, and it comes up when talking about the other cards, so yeah. Anyways, it is a 1-cost extra, Ice Ray. Activate main, place the top 2 cards of your deck into their owner's drop. If your leader has Shadow Dragon and special traits, choose up to 1 battle card in your opponent's battle area and reduce its cost by 3 for the turn. So this is important for a couple different reasons. The most obvious one is it helps with your removal. Within Archetype currently, Omega cannot remove cards that are 6 or higher, which kind of a big deal. You have to tech for those right now, and the thing with Omega, the more cards you tech in that are non-Shadow Dragons, the more it can hurt your consistency and potentially stall your awakening. So you want to limit those as much as possible. And now with this card, within his archetype, he can remove up to an 8 cost. So I believe the only card he can't remove is the 9 cost Broly, unless we see another 9, but that's an if at this moment. So yeah, the 9 cost Broly, which at this point is not really meta relevant. There's one deck that you'll see in the meta that does play it right now, and even then, I think that deck fell off because SS3 is just way too aggressive. The other important note, this is a 1-cost card. As it is right now, you just have Black Smoke, so your deck has 4 Shadow Dragon targets that are 1 cost that can mill your deck and help with your awakening. Adding this to the deck, we now have 8 1-cost targets that filter cards into your drop to help with your awakening. Obviously you'd prefer to play Black Smoke, but if you don't open with Black Smoke and you open with this card, you can just pop this to put 3 cards in the drop, the 2 from the effect plus itself. And Black Smoke can pick this up, so you could go Black Smoke, pick this up, pop this turn 2, and that's 5 cards in drop. You're almost there. So yeah, running this will help with awakening. That's a worst case though. Obviously you'd rather have Black Smoke, but that's not bad. Next card we're talking about is a battle card. 5 costs in Shenron, 10k combo, 30k power. Permanent. If you have a Nova Shenron with a cost of 4 in your battle area, reduce the cost of this card in your hand by 4. On play, KO 1 Nova Shenron with a cost of 4 in your battle area, then draw 1 card. So it's reminiscent of the Nail Chain in Namaku. There's a bit more going on than initially appears on this card though. The 4-cost Nova has that on KO effect, remember, where it bottom decks a 4 cost. We can make that bottom deck a 7 cost when we pair in Ice Ray. So that is pretty good, being able to bottom deck a 7 cost. Especially when we have big cards, for example, the 6 cost Gogeta BR that's a dual attacker. If they're familiar with the matchup, they know your removal burst attack, you have to swing into that card. They might leave that card standing so they can just keep playing them turn after turn and then eventually just hit critical mass where they just destroy you. The card doesn't need to be rested for this combo to bottom deck it, so that is a minor thing to note. But for the most part, what we're really going for here is, so you're playing the Nova, you're swinging that for 25, using his restand effect to put 4 cards in the drop, swinging him again for 25, putting Ice Ray on top of it, We've now put 6 cards from the top of our deck in the drop. And then you can play this to put a card in your hand, so that's 7 cards taken from the top of our deck. Then we're swinging this for 30 as well, and we've bottom decked a 7 cost. So it's a neat little combo that the deck is getting, and I'm looking forward to trying it out. Last card we're looking at is a 7 cost Omega Shenron. He is 5k combo, 40k power. He is an evolved for 1 on an Omega Shenron with a cost of 5. On play, place 7 cards with Shadow Dragon and their special traits from your drop at the bottom of their owner's deck in a random order. Switch this card to active mode, then add up to 1 extra with Shadow Dragon from your drop to your hand. So one important little side note, you can play this off of the Sin that plays out in Omega, because that card only calls for a name, it doesn't call for a cost. Now that being said, the 5 cost Omega is the better play in every situation where you would do that line, except for the one where you do not have the 5 cost. They've all been milled. You're down to 3 cards in deck, and you can go into the Sin, go down to 1 card, go into this to put your 5 costs back, hopefully Dragon Thunder into 1 for the next turn to set up the proper line, and then you're still getting the 40k swing off of this, and it's recovered for you, so it can be a recovery option. Outside of that situation, you're always going to want to go into the 5. Now that being said, when I look at this card, I view this card as something you really need to know the deck to make the most use out of. And I could see a lot of people throwing the game by playing this too early off of the 5 cost Sin with that whole place 7 cards in the deck thing. So the entire point of Omega, you're getting down to 3-4 cards in deck, so that when you play your 5 cost Omega, you're able to cycle the 7 extras into your hand off of his ability. And then from that point, you're just cycling like the same 12 cards and picking up important stuff like your supers, your extras, Natarons, SR Omegas to keep playing them. I can see people throwing their game by right on turn 5, going into the Sin, putting 7 cards from their drop back into their deck, and then playing this and putting another 7 back. So they're putting 14 cards back. And from that point, it's just going to be like, you're not cycling fast enough, your hand is going to dwindle, and you're going to get overrun. Now, when you do get to where you want to be with the deck, this card is incredibly strong, and there's a lot of different things you can do with it. So, obviously, the 5 cost Omega, it can't be removed unless by battle, or if they minus it 35 in the red matchup, which it is a bit to ask for, but for the most part, your 5 cost Omega is probably staying on the board for a turn, which makes this just a 1 cost 40k swing on your follow-up after playing a 5 cost where you didn't have the room to play this, we'll say. And I've had a couple awkward turns with Omega where after playing like the Sin Omega chain, doing all my stuff, on the pass back I draw and I have 1 card in deck, so I'd have to commit my leader ability immediately after swinging the 35 Omega, which more often than not was just playing the energy ball. With this card, however, I could swing my Omega in that situation, evolve it, put the 7 cards back, and I don't have to immediately commit my leader ability for the turn. And then I can just keep it pushing, do whatever it is I need to do for the turn in that situation. There is a line with this card that probably just outright kills your opponent where you do it, where you go into the 5 cost Sin, swing him for 30, go into the 5 cost Omega, swing him for 30, energy ball on him to restand him, swing him for 55 double, and then you evolve this on top. It will retain the power from the energy ball, it'll lose the double strike, so it will swing for 60 single after that. So in that turn, assuming you had an empty board, you would go 30, 35, 55, 60. That's a lot of pressure. Now that does put 14 cards total into your deck. It's actually 21, but you remove 7 off of the 5 cost Omega. That's just minor detail, doesn't really matter. So point is, you have to make sure you stack your deck properly if you're going to do that move. Like, you would want the first 7 cards that you're going to draw into to be your Black Smokes and like your Natterons, just stuff that will get you back down to the 3-4 cards in deck that you want. But yeah, this card, when used properly, is really strong. Although Omega's endgame isn't what needed help, he has an abysmal early game, which honestly, I think that's a balancing thing. I think Bandai is aware of how obscene Omega's late game can be, so they gave him a fairly weak start, and I don't see that changing. If that does change, I think Omega could become a problem down the road. So how do I feel about Omega going into the next meta? I think he has a fighting chance, but it's not a very good one. I don't think there's a matchup that he can't win if he gets to his endgame. Whereas prior, there were matchups where it didn't matter. He just wouldn't be able to win. That being said, there are a lot of matchups where it's going to be very hard to get there. As we said, his early game is quite abysmal, and there's a lot of decks that just put out a lot of pressure very early. One of which being the most played deck right now, Super Saiyan 3. That is going to be a rough matchup, but if he's able to get to where he wants to be, I can see him winning that matchup just fine when he starts cycling 4 whirlwinds every turn. And you gotta remember, SS3 has limited swings because his Gokus don't stay on board. I feel like you can out-attrition that matchup. It's just incredibly hard. It's probably still gonna be like a 1090 matchup or something obscene, but I don't think it's unwinnable. Alright fellas, that's going to be it for the day. We're going to get back to gameplay videos soon. I've just been busy and I haven't wanted to use my free time to play the Super Saiyan 3 matchup over and over and over again. But yeah, we'll have gameplay videos next week. Anyways, thanks for joining me once again. Until next time, take care. See y'all later.